Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Matt, and we're going to talk about Glow Season 1, Episode 5. It's called Debbie Does Something. Full spoilers for the episode, as
Great
always.
title.
That's a great
Great
title, and
title.
it's funny because I don't know if you've talked about it in these reviews, but I think I've certainly had the conversation before, if not with you, then just certainly in general, about how wrestling is basically just another type of soap opera in the way that it's written.
Yep.
Just because the storylines are typically repetitive, they're typically pretty stupid. A lot of the same concepts kind of come back around over and
hmm
over, and it's just very, very hackneyed. And it made so much sense to me that eventually it was going to click for her when she realised it was the same damn thing she was doing already,
Yep.
just with more physicality, and
Yeah.
that's when she got into it. So,
It's a physical soap opera, and I like Betty Gilpin, who plays Debbie. The look on her face, it hits.
hmm.
I thought was well used.
Yeah,
And
I think this episode did a lot to set up. Okay, why is she going to be okay working with Ruth going forward?
yep.
Why will she be her heel to her face? And it's set up in a bunch of different ways. Uh, on one hand, they set up the idea that Ruth's actually been taking this seriously, and we see her do some moves with Carmen, and she's
Yep.
taking body slams, she's taking some clotheslines, she's actually she's getting dragged
Yep.
around the ring. It looks like proper wrestling, and when Debbie is like, they've got the TV exec in who's going to put it on the air for them, and he
hmm
comes up to meet her, and she just completely whiffs it and just looks like an idiot the entire
Yep.
time. She's not learned how to do anything, and she comes off inexperienced. And she recognizes that Ruth's actually doing better than she is. Like she's supposed to be
Yep.
the star, and she's kind of whiffing. Like it's almost like this realization she's the star because she was kind of on TV before, and she's the hot blonde, and
Yeah.
that realization kind of stings a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it stings
Well.
even more because she goes to see her parents to look after her kid because she wants to focus on becoming better, and you can see the guilt on her face as she's leaving her kid to go do something, but at the same time she kind of wants it and needs it. There's complexity and depth to her character. She obviously gets the lion's share of the development in this episode.
hmm
But
Yeah. Well, and it pays off too because when Carmen and Melrose take her to a real wrestling show. Like,
yeah,
because she's never been, because she tells them deep down she thinks wrestling's stupid, and that's why she can't fully commit. So they go,
I think deep down's maybe a bit of a bit of an overstatement.
well, yeah, but she's there and she's, for all intents and purposes, she looks like she's there trying, but her heart's not in it.
Not sure.
So,
Yeah, well, the reason why
yeah.
I dispute that is because like it's not like she tries to hide it. Like she immediately just says, "Well, it is kind of stupid, isn't it?"
Well,
Like
yeah.
Carmen can recognize it, and she immediately like
hmm
calls her on it, and she's like, "Well, yeah, it is, right?"
Yeah.
And she's like,
Yeah.
"No, it's
So,
exaggerated."
and it's at the wrestling show she, makes the connection that it's a soap opera because Carmen starts explaining the storyline between the two wrestlers in the main event. Steel Horse, played by Alex Riley, former WWE wrestler, and then his opponent, Mr. Monopoly, played by PWG's own Joey Ryan. So I thought,
Very
as,
good.
as a wrestling fan, it was great. To
I
see that.
wasn't familiar with him. I
Yeah.
did think he had a very Rick Rude look to him, though.
Yeah. So
I almost thought that's what they were doing when he came out. That it was, oh, this is meant to be Rick Rude before he like became big in TV
yeah.
because he had that
Well,
look to him.
because Joey Ryan's whole thing is he's the sleazy LA guy,
Hmm.
and go on after you watch this and look up The Power of the Penis, which was a video that made its way around YouTube. I want to say a year and a half ago, where he suplexes somebody who grabs him by the crotch. It's super hilarious. Like, um,
Not
yeah,
not
I know you
not
give me a weird look.
not to be confused with that very famous Japanese wrestling gif of the guy who does a pile driver with the other guy's head in his trunks.
Yeah, not like that.
Yeah.
Although this did take place in Japan for the first time,
Oh,
so
interesting. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so they're not that they're big deals, but in the wrestling scene, Joey Ryan's he's a pretty recognizable face because he's got that mustache like Rick Rude. Uh, but he's a solid worker, and so that's what you see here. Is during their match, he's taking the bumps, and it looks like an actual wrestling match for the first time on the show. And Betty goes and meets Steel Horse backstage, and they have a talk. and he basically
Betty?
says that
Who's Betty, Matt?
Betty, the actress Debbie, uh, she reminds me of Betty from Riverdale. So I always find that it's a little bit weird. Her real name is Betty. It's a
I guess I can kind of see like
uh,
Betty 20 years later after she's been divorced. Yeah, sure.
yeah.
I guess I can kind of see
Anyways,
what you mean.
Debbie goes and meets Steel Horse backstage, and he breaks it down that you need a good heel to work with, and like you can not be that great in the ring if you have a heel that's that can make you look good. Then it's like a teamwork thing.
Well, I mean,
You're both telling the story, and you're both working towards a goal.
and that goes for anything really when you think about it. I mean, like everyone always rags in the Marvel movies for having shit villains, but honestly, it's kind of a big deal because as fun as a lot of them are, it's like, well, there's a reason why when you compare it to say The Dark Knight, they don't maybe compare as favourably because
Yeah.
your movie's only as good as your villain, and
hmm
and I don't think that's always 100% true, obviously, but like, yeah, I mean, like, how good's your movie when Malekith, in that movie, like in Thor 2, like, how
Yeah.
good is it when that's your villain? So
Well, especially with Eccleston, and it's a wasted spot. It's underdeveloped.
yeah, he
But
could have been so good. He could have
yeah,
been chewing that scenery like an absolute madman, and he got to
exactly.
say nothing. That was depressing.
But yeah, so she has this realization, and now she calls Sam when she gets back, or Sam calls her. No, she calls Sam because there's been a series of prank calls throughout the episode, and he flips out. But she needs a heel.
Yeah,
So
yeah. She's learned that she needs a heel. But one of the things that what was it? Steel horse, horse steel.
Steel Horse.
There you go. It's a stupid name. But one of the things he says to her about the whole heel and face thing is that she says, "Oh, so you're actually friends?" He's like, "No, we're not friends." And he doesn't necessarily say there's a feud, but he says, "Oh no, like if there's a little bit of reality there, there's a little bit of spark. Like if you don't actually like each other."
Yeah.
That actually comes across in the passion and the heat in the ring, and that kind of makes it work. So it's already setting up the idea that because she does actually have this disconnection with Ruth, that it will lead to a better fight because of it.
Yeah.
And obviously from the other side of it, we see Ruth and Britannica. I'm not calling her Rhonda. What is a stupid name? But her
Yeah.
they get taken to a sponsor, potential sponsor, who sells deck chairs. Because that's what you associate with wrestling.
The best joke though is that it's called Patio. Was it Patio World? No, Patio Town. And they get there, and the guy that owns it, his name is Patrick O'Town. And the look on Sam's face is the realization, it killed me. Mark Maron's.
Just speaking of him and this whole sponsor thing,
Yeah.
see the scene where the TV execs at the gym, and he's talking to him, and he says the line, "It's like porn you can watch with your kids." Finally.
Finally.
And Bastion like sort of chimes in and goes, "But remember, we're on a Saturday morning time slot." It's like,
Yeah.
that's why he adds the kids thing.
Yeah.
But that was really funny because he's saying how like the guys will watch it because it's sex appeal.
Yeah. And the women watch it because they get to see women being strong, and they're wrestling with their own stereotypes. And he's just being, again, super precious with it. But yeah, they go to this sponsor thing where the girls are supposed to help cut the ribbon, and Patio Towns, which again, that name just kills me. That's like an Arrested Development joke, really.
It is. It's blah blah blah.
Yeah. But he's kind of just like, nah, I was just doing a favor for the studio exec, and he wrote my son a really great recommendation.
And of course, before this scene, there's a scene where Alison Brie, Ruth, goes to the runner of the hotel, and he's like, "Our TV's not working," and he's this Russian guy. And he's like, "I don't care," and he's like, "In Soviet Russia, TV watch you," and like he just shows her off. He doesn't care. He's too invested in the show that he's watching.
I love the fact that he called them prostitutes, because clearly that's what he thinks is what's going on.
Yeah, because they're all
these women renting rooms, and he goes, "Prostitute, not need to watch TV," and that just.
But it gives Ruth this idea for a character, for her heel character, and at this event where they're cutting the big ribbon, she breaks into a Russian accent, which occasionally slips a little bit, but that's okay because we know she's meant to be putting it on. But it's mostly pretty good in a kind of comical kind of way. And what she does is she uses sort of some Russian jokes about what it's like to buy chairs in Russia to make his place look better, and the guy kind of gets it. And Sam's kind of impressed, and he's like, "Hey," he gives it a little wink and says, "You know, that was a good job. That was good work."
It's the first time her actor's acting has paid off for her.
It has, especially since she's kind of learning to embrace the fact that she's probably going to be a villain. Yeah. And I was almost expecting her to sort of nudge over at Britannica, go into like face mode and say something in their defence or something like that. And they didn't quite go down that route. But they go and get some food afterwards. They're at a fast food place in the car park, and she keeps doing the voice. She keeps doing the Russian voice. And we found out not so subtly that Britannica and Sam are having sex together. Because she just comes out with, "I'm going to the bathroom. You're not coming?" And it comes out of so nowhere, even for him. Like, even though he's casually having sex with her, he's just like, "Well, no, we can just do that later. Like, why now? Why in the bathroom at this fast food place? What are you doing?" And she goes off.
Well, it was almost like because Sam was giving Ruth attention.
Oh yeah.
And Britannica couldn't take it, so that's what she was going to go do.
And,
And Ruth even pokes fun at it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a mistake. I'm just I'm just pointing out how sort of random it is to him, and that's what. But it's inspired by the fact that he's given her attention, and Ruth pokes fun at it, and then Ruth starts doing an English accent and starts sort of like kind of getting not flirty, like she's not actually flirting with Sam, she's just sort of pretending to be her flirting with Sam, but like, you know, it feels like Sam and Ruth for the first time are actually kind of bonding, and that's like really nice. But he brings up, this Russian thing's great, it's a shame you can't actually do it. And she's like, why? It's because, well, if you were a Soviet Union villain, then you'd have to fight the all-American hero, and you and Debbie aren't speaking. So what was all that was leading up to that, where it's the opposite side, where from that point of view, they're putting it together as well, that they should have the Russian and the American hero fighting each other. Again, very 80s, very Rocky IV.
So 80s.
Yeah, so...
Spectre of Cold War playing out over wrestling.
So ultimately, I think that's what this is. This episode was about the realization that, and even though I think we all knew from the first episode that the final fight is going to be these two going against each other. But this episode was putting it in the characters' heads that this is why they should be the ones fighting, because there is part of it that's going to be kind of real. Mm-hmm. There's, you know, the fact that she's the all-American, she's the Russian, she's playing the villain, she's the ultimate hero, like all of it just, and even just the sense that the heel has to do more of the work, and they've already set up in this episode that Ruth is actually gotten a little bit further and can do a bit more of the work.
Yep.
So, it's really smartly set up in that sense.
Well, and deep down they're gonna have to be professional. Like, they might not like each other, but if they want this whole promotion to succeed, and they're the two best ones, they're gonna have to put aside their personal beef and just work together. So, and I like that.
I do think that by the end of the season, though, they will kind of make up, if you want to put it in such a simple term. Partly because it was the speech with it was after she'd had sex with Steel Horse, and she was sneaking back in, and Cherry comes and talks, because we've seen Cherry bust Melrose for coming home after curfew at the start of the episode, and she's not really busting her, she's kind of okay. It really just shows that she's just busting Melrose's balls, but she doesn't really do it with anyone else. And she's asking, what was it like? Did he live up to his name? Blah 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 blah. And he's like, I mean, he was stealing, he was horsey, and I'm scared to pee. That was a funny line.
A little too much.
Yeah. And she's like, but it was kind of weird. Like, you know, I've been married for a long time, and like, as much as like, he's a big hunk. He's apparently very well endowed, as the conversation was implying. It's not the same as when she, like, it was nice when it was comfortable with someone she knew, and he knew her, and it was like the same thing. And I don't necessarily know if that's implying that she's going to want to get back with her husband. I feel like that's maybe more implying that she'll want to get back with Ruth as a friendship, because she is comfortable with her, and when they get in the ring, she'll feel more comfortable with Ruth, because Ruth will, you know, there's a natural comfort there, even if they are in a place right now where there is a spark of hatred, there's a spark of whatever. Which again, you
saw with Debbie too, that when she was at breakfast with her parents, Ruth pops in, and clearly Debbie hasn't told her parents.
Oh yeah, you're right, yeah.
So because they see Ruth, they're like, "Oh, come on over," and Ruth doesn't want to tread. You know, she's like, "Oh, it's nice to see you. I have to go." And so, she hasn't been telling everybody that her best friend was who her husband was cheating
It's
with.
almost like deep down she knows that eventually, like they might, because if she tells her parents and then her and Ruth become friends again, it's going to be really awkward in the future whenever
Yep.
she's around her parents and stuff like that. So it's almost like deep down she knows that eventually they will be friends again. So even if she's not aware of it, but that's why she subconsciously made this choice not to tell everyone, because it makes it less awkward later when she's friends with her again, and she doesn't have
Yep.
to go through all the, oh no, we're friends again, I've forgiven her, let's get over it. She doesn't have to do that. I
Right.
think that's interesting. Uh, but no, so I liked all that stuff. There was some funny lines about her boobs leaking again.
Yeah.
She's every time she jumps rope they leak, and then she's like, oh, I need to go.
Yeah.
I think she says I need to go and drain my tits before she goes on the run
Yeah.
with Cherry.
Yeah.
Which again, very funny line. I really like going back to the whole Sam and Ruth bonding. I did actually like the moment where like Ruth makes a dig at him. It's like, oh, she's having sex with our boss. He's like, yeah, it's not our best friend's
Not
husband
her
though.
best friend.
And
Yeah.
he actually feels guilty after that line. He apologizes for it, and I think that's the first
Yeah.
time. It's definitely the first time I think, because he said a lot of kind of nasty things to her. It's all been kind of in character and jest, kind of like the way he
Yeah.
does. But this is the first time he's definitely went back and went, "Oh, I'm sorry, I said that." Like that was the first time he did that, and I think that's a positive sign in terms of like the character growth and the bond and the relationship forming
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, because this is the halfway mark now, because this is 5 out of 10. So, and the characters are still developing nicely. I don't feel like there's a rut, where some of these shows that you watch
oh
by the
yeah,
halfway through, you know, things stop happening. Here, it's still moving forward nicely.
I think the pacing's been excellent. I think the
Yeah.
smartest thing they did was said 30-35 minutes per episode. They made that choice, and I think it's paying dividends
Yeah.
because ultimately this will be what it'll probably be close to 6 hours. Because it's a lot of 30+ minute ones, so it'll probably add up to about 6 hours when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
But like I feel like they made the right choice there, and it's really tightly paced as a result, and everything keeps moving. We
Yeah.
also had a subplot this episode to like, get us to know a little bit one of the
Oh,
main
that's right.
characters with Justine. Arthur was there as well. Arthur's kind of just the supporting character
Yeah, it's
in
her
the
roommate.
subplot, yeah.
Yeah.
But Justine keeps ordering pizza, and Melrose is like, "Why do you keep ordering pizza?" Right? And then it cuts to this glorious 80s slow motion shot of the pizza guy arriving with his 80s music playing, and he's walking in slow motion. He's got this ridiculous looking hair, but you get it. She's got a crush on the pizza guy,
Yeah.
but it's honestly, if you just told me, oh, there's going to be a subplot where Justine's got a crush on the guy who delivers pizza, I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. But it's the way they presented it. It's the music. It's the style.
The style of it all.
It's her opening the door and then sounding like a complete idiot when she's trying to impress him. It's that stuff that made it entertaining. And that's what kind of makes me trust this show. Where I'm like, oh yeah, I could definitely could go for a season 2. Where it's like it's not just what they're doing; it's how they're doing it. It's how they're choosing to show it and portray things. And it's those little slice of 80s moments that I'm really. It's not the heart of the show. Like the heart is definitely the characters and the growth, but it's really peppering it with this nice bit of style that's really keeping me entertained as we're going as well. So
I agree. It's a lot of fun.
it's cool. Yeah. And okay, like, at one point, just at the end of this little subplot, Justine says he's probably already got a boyfriend who can give a blowjob without choking. And as Arthur's leaving, she's like, I ordered pizza. I'm going to be gone for 45 minutes. Try not to choke on anything. As she's leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, like I want more development with Arthur too, because she's been a lot of fun in her small bits.
Arthur's
You know?
been good, yeah. I like Arthur.
Yeah, so, she does the cool roommate thing and does leave and orders the pizza for her so she can talk with the guy, the pizza delivery. So, but yeah, a lot of fun there because it feels like an 80s movie. Like, it's like,
it really does, yeah.
yeah. So it's cool that they can go and do that and still, now that they have one foot in the 80s and one foot now, but it brings it all together where it feels right.
Also, I think Melrose is competing with Sam for who's going to be have the most swear
More terrible?
words in the
Yeah.
in the swear jar by the end of the season, because she was really dialing it up this episode. There was at least 2 C-bombs coming from her this episode.
Yeah, I love that when they keep prank calling her, she's just had enough and goes out to the parking lot to yell.
Yeah.
And then, she realizes who it is and kind of, not that she turns it on him, but kind of lets him know that she knows who it is.
Oh, she knows immediately. In fact, everyone
Yeah.
kind of does after, because that's the thing. When Sam gets the phone call from Debbie at the end, he wakes up and goes, "Oh, I started with the crank calls already." Like,
Yeah.
he's just cranky. But I like that we got that subplot with Justine though, because I feel like, yeah, obviously there's like the 3 or 4. Definitely, there's the 2 main ladies, but there's the 3 or 4 as well, and as a whole, that feel like the main ones. And then there's like sort of the B team that are there to like
Yeah.
spruce it up. And I feel like if at least the B squad get all of these type of subplots, but we get a little bit of them, and we get to understand them a little bit better. Because the last episode we had the she wolf. Kind of like not the focus of the episode, but it was a nice bridge, so we understand her a little bit better. We got a little bit more of Justine this episode. So maybe next episode, maybe we get some of Jenny, or maybe we get some of I don't know, whoever, the sisters. Take your pick, Arthur.
Yeah.
Any of them. But anyway, so no, it was a solid episode. We're halfway through. Next one will be on Thursday, so let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter on mailed_fuzz. Get over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv if you want to support the channel and everything we do here. Head over there and check out some of the bonuses you can get for signing up. But that is us. I'm losing track of my sentence. But that's us, guys. So once again, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?